I love Kerbal Space. It was my second ever PC game that I bought all the way back in December of 2016 when I was only 12 years old. You see, at the time, I was obsessed with space and spent many hours watching space videos, looking for space simulations online, and keeping up with the latest space news on Universe Today and other websites. It was inevitable that I would stumble upon this video of Scott Manley designing his own rocket, which blew my mind. On December 17, I finally got the game for myself and was hooked. At first, I built rockets that so obviously didn't make sense, but as time went on, I improved. Soon enough, I reached orbit for the first time, then the Mun, then Minmus, and eventually Duna, where Jeb has been sitting on my save file for the past real 5.5 years. Kerbal Space Program was the first game that I ever actually bothered to draw fan art of. Sadly, only one of these images survives today, and it's of a rocket taking off from Kerbin as it aligns with both the Mun and Kerbal, the sun of the solar system. KSP spurred my interest in space like nothing else before. It's probably the reason why you're listening to Planetary Facts right now instead of something like Nerdy Gamer 1113 or something. My first ever posts on the internet were Kerbal related, with my first ever viral post being a picture of me making this flying Tesla. Needless to say, I was hyped for the release of Kerbal Space Program 2 last week and... Kerbal Space Program 2 is currently in a disappointing stage of development. The current version of the game faces many issues with optimization, bugs, and missing features from the original KSP1. Starting with optimization, the game's required spec sheets dropped about a week before its release, and it was apparent that only a PC directly from NASA would be able to run it. Most people simply do not have access to such high-end PC specs. According to the January 2023 Steam hardware survey, only 33% of Steam users meet the minimum requirements to play this game, and only the elite 4% can meet the recommended specs. One Reddit user best summarized this spec sheet by saying, "This game just went from $50 to $350 for a lot of people." In response to the backlash, the KSP2 team lowered their minimum specs, but it's doubtful that they actually increased performance and instead just expanded their definition of what running means. To put this into perspective, the original Kerbal Space Program could run on this thing, a used HP notebook laptop from 2016, which can now be bought for only about $300 to $400 US. When the game finally did release last week, it became clear that the game was in fact very poorly optimized. The devs weren't just being pessimistic. People complained that even their RTX 3080s, listed as part of the recommended specs and one of the top graphics cards available, struggled to run basic spacecraft. One Reddit user tested Kerbal Space Program 1 with the most powerful graphical mods available and found that it runs 3 times better than KSP2. Even if you do manage to break into NASA headquarters and steal the computer that did the Perseverance landings, you still won't be able to pass through the numerous bugs that shipped on day 1. Matt Lone sat down to play the game for a few hours and a Reddit user was able to find 42 total bugs, 6 of which were completely game-breaking, such as the spacecraft exploding for no reason.
The entire aft section of the ship, including the engine I need to land, was destroyed.
While KSP1 had to deal with the Kraken messing with more complex ships, it seemed that Charvidus himself has risen from the ocean with a vicious anger and a thirst for moon rockets. This is not even mentioning the bugs you can encounter with the Space Center itself, such as the place deciding to completely Doctor Strange itself. KSP2 also shipped with a number of features that were noticeably present in the first game. I won't go into too much detail here since CarNASA already did a much better job of explaining what's missing, but basically, there's no career mode, there's no heating system, and there's several features missing that have to do with precisely planning and controlling your rocket. Parts of the game that really help with the simulation aspect of the game, making it feel like you're actually a talented rocket engineer. When I first heard about Kerbal Space Program 2 in 2019, I was thrilled. The day it was announced, I could hardly focus on anything else. I was looking forward to experiencing the sense of wonder I had felt playing the original game and reliving my childhood memories. However now, 2 years after I was supposed to be sitting down enjoying the game, I am disappointed with the current state. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not rejecting this game like I'm Buddy from The Incredibles. However, it is clear that there is much room for improvement, especially considering the $50 price tag. Despite all of this, I believe the developers are passionate about their work, and I hope that time will prove me right. For now though, it seems I'll have to wait a few months or years even before we can re-experience the magic of Kerbal Space Program. Thank you guys so much for watching. If this video has managed to get any amount of traction, I might consider making more long-form style videos. Signing off!